you guys, if you hear any, crying sounds, I have a 1-year-old in the house, and I'm so sorry for the background noise. I know it's a lot, but I really need to get this video out. Assalamu alaikum guys, I hope you are all in the best of health, and I hope your Ramadan is going really well. Mine is going well, alhamdulilah. From the title, you guys can see what the video today is about. We're going straight on to our first woman we want to talk about. Today I'm really excited to talk about Khadija Bint Khuwaylid, aka Khadija al-Kubra. This was a woman who was like way ahead of her time. She was the first of many things in Islam, as we know. But also I want to talk about other things that are really not out there about this person. And so let's dive into it. Okay, so Khadija bint Khuwaylid was the daughter of Khuwaylid ibn Asad and Fatima, and so she was given the name Khadija because mainly she was premature. She came way before her time, like ahead of her due date. She was born at the age of ignorance, the age where, like I said in my last video, women were not regarded as any important people. And she was a daughter of Quraysh, and she was from a very noble family. Okay, and so Khadija's father is a little bit disappointed. He gave birth to a girl, so sends her off to Khadija's elder cousin Waraka. He's the one who basically raised Khadija, and from the onset, Waraka believed in one God, and so he raising Khadija also instilled that belief in her. So Khadija also was a monotheist. So Khadija is growing up. She's growing up to be a very good girl with a very good character, very noble girl, beautiful, smart, and she's getting all these suitors coming her way. And this is the age of Jahiliyyah. People don't really wait till they're like 18 or 20 to get married. So Khadija is at the age of 15 and she gets married to her first husband, who is Abu Hala. Those days they don't really get married because of love. They get married because of nobility. They get married because of wealth and maybe your family lineage and maybe your character. So Khadija finally decided to marry Abu Hala. He was from a noble family, he was rich, and so they are married, say 1-2 years. They have like 2 children, and Abu Hala dies. Abu Hala is a very rich man. He dies with all these riches, and fortunately for Khadija, she gets to keep her husband's wealth. She's a 15-year-old, with 2 kids. This is the Jahiliyyah period. It's not common for a woman to stay without a man. She finally gets another proposal from Atik. Atik was also a nobleman. He was from a noble family, and he was from a family lineage that was like very prominent, and on top of it he was also rich. They are married, and same thing happened. Her husband dies, leaving her with another child. Khadija is a very strong woman. At this point she's 25, she's widowed twice, and she has about 3 kids to take care of, and she has all this wealth from her 2 husbands to manage. And so let me just say, she decides, I think marriage is not for me. Let me just sit down and focus on business and focus on my kids. I really admire this trait about her. She didn't sit down to kind of cry over the fact that she has lost 2 husbands and she had kids to take care of. She focused on investing the riches she had. This is such a big lesson for all of us. Like, we might go through things. I know we all process things differently, but we are not supposed to dwell in our sorrows for it to kind of like consume us. At a point you have to get back up, shake off like yourself, and keep moving. And that's exactly what Khadija did. She put married off for a while and just focus on herself, on her business, and on her children. So it's a period of Jahiliyyah, and of course trade and business is a male-dominated area. It's an area where you would hardly see a woman. But Khadija became like very wealthy and a very smart businesswoman, and her riches and her wealth and her trade was so successful. And she had like trade routes to Yemen and Syria. When she would like do these trade routes, her goods would like be on 800 camels. Khadija's caravans were like all of the caravans of the other traders put together. That's how much she was wealthy. And so she was very, very rich and a very, very successful businesswoman. Also something we could learn from, like, it doesn't matter if this field you want to go into is like, it's considered a male-dominated field. You just go and be yourself and like try your hardest, and like inshallah you would really thrive in it. Another thing I really wanted to highlight about Khadija before he met the Prophet was the fact that she was very generous. So she had a green silk over her roof to indicate to the poor and needy that whenever they needed help, she could offer them help. From this, we could really learn that no matter your wealth and amount of riches you have, you can still have time to be humble and to be generous to the poor. So obviously Khadija is in this male-dominated, trade business, and she was very generous, she was very humble. So of course she would have a lot of people taking advantage of her. There came a time where she wanted to really do this trade. She needed somebody really honest to kind of like do this particular business for her. And so she sends word out. So the Prophet goes, but Khadija, of course, she's had to deal with a lot of disappointment, and so she sends a friend with the Prophet. This person goes with the Prophet. They went on to do this business deals, and this person comes back to Khadija and is telling Khadija all these nice things about the Prophet. At this point, Khadija is like 40 years old. And he has heard a lot about the Prophet, how humble he was. So she's wondering, how am I going to get to this guy? And that's one thing I really loved about Khadija's story as well. It's portrayed how of a go-getter she is. Like, so she heard about this Prophet, so she's just thinking, how am I going to get this man in my circle? And this is where Khadija's friend Nafisa was really instrumental in this whole love story, because she was the one who actually went to the Prophet to ask why the Prophet wasn't married. And the Prophet goes, well, I'm not like financially ready to marry somebody. This is such a big example for us. The Prophet was sincere enough to tell another person that I'm sincerely not ready to marry this person because I'm not financially strong, or I'm not financially ready. And so it's a big lesson for young men today to learn from. It's not anything to be ashamed of if you're not financially ready to take care of another person, because taking care of another person can be really a lot of responsibility. Anyway, back to the story. And so Khadijah's friend asked the Prophet, what if you wouldn't have to financially worry to take care of this other person? And the Prophet was like, oh, okay, so who is this person? And then Khadijah's friend goes, well, it's Khadija Bint Khuwaylid. And the Prophet was really amazed, because this is a woman we all know, she's wealthy and she wanted to marry him. And so Khadija finally proposed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and they fulfilled the marriage rites and they got married. And many years later they had like 6 children. And so I'd say this was a really happily ever after marriage. It's a lesson to the women as well. If you see something good, or you see somebody good you want to marry, you should be a go-getter. I mean, just give it a try. You never know how it may go. You never know if the person might like you in return. So we should all endeavor to be go-getters. Okay, so you cannot talk about the story of Khadija without highlighting her sacrifices for the religion of Islam. The Prophet started to see visions, he started to see dreams, and these dreams would come to pass. So the Prophet basically started wondering what was wrong with him. He started thinking if he was going insane, or if he was being possessed. So during these times, Khadija was really a really strong pillar for the Prophet. For instance, when the first time the angel appeared to the Prophet at the cave, the angel came to the Prophet saying, Iqra. Narrations, they are like describing how high this mountain or this cave is, right? And he runs down, sweating and shivering. And who does he come to first? His wife, Khadija. Because, you know, Khadija was the only one who comforted him, who gave him some sort of peace and assurance. This really shows like how important women are in Islam. Prophet to run to no one. He could have run to Abu Bakr, who was like his best friend. He could have run to so many people that he was close to, but he ran to a woman that believed him when nobody really believed him. You know, people started saying he was mad. People started saying he was like crazy. But Khadija believed in him. There was one time where the Prophet wanted to receive revelation for the second time. So he started feeling cold, he started shivering. He runs to Khadija and tells her, Zamiluni, like cover me. And you know, Khadija reaches for the Prophet, covers him for him to be like comfortable to talk about what was going on with him. Khadija really played a major role in accepting and spreading Islam the way that he did. I mean, there was a purpose, like there was a reason why Allah made it a woman that he ran to every single time. Because this was the age of Jahiliyyah as well, where women were next to nothing. So this was like a way for people to see the importance of women. We as women and we as Muslims, we really demean the importance of women. The signs are there for us all to see that women are very important. They are like pillars in the very roots of this whole religion. As we can see how a woman was like a pillar to the Prophet. And there was this narration that the Prophet was sitting down and angel Jibril goes, Khadija is coming with food and water. And tell Khadija Allah sends his salam and I send my salam. Imagine Allah saying salam to a woman. This really teaches us how a woman is so important in Islam. Khadija, as we know, was a very wealthy woman, but she ended up giving all her riches in the cause of Islam. Allah would have brought Islam in another way, but Allah made sure it had to be like through a woman, through the wealth and riches he bestowed on a woman. And so this is very important for us as Muslims to learn from. And I really hope this video helps you. I really hope this video inspires you, for like the Muslims out there, the non-Muslims out there, the non-Muslim women as well. I hope this video really inspires you to be your best self. And let me know if there's something that is about Khadija that I probably forgot to mention that you think is very important. Just leave it there in the comment section and let me know what you think. What did you learn from this video? Because that's the main purpose of this video, is for us as Muslims, you know, for us as women to learn something from these women. And you know, thank you so much for watching this video and see you in my next video. Bye. Subscribe to my auntie's channel. Oh my god.
Hi YouTube. I'm her manager.
Not going well. So much noise. Okay. You guys, I might have to do this video another time.